Hello friends, I am Elias Misra from Delhi, Faculty of Economy, and today we are going to start Indian economy, especially for civil services as well as for the similar examination uh, like the state examination, because most of the states in our country are just following the syllabus of UPSC for the state services. So this will also help you properly. As far as the subject economy is concerned, it plays vital role in all this examination. So today we'll discuss through this video the syllabus, the entire syllabus for prelims and mains, as well as the strategy for this examination. First, we'll have a look on the syllabus. When we see the syllabus in front of you, the original syllabus is given, and in prelims examination, the syllabus is very short, like economic and social development, sustainable development, poverty, inclusion, demographics, social sector initiatives. As far as mains is concerned, it has been incepted in paper third of Indian economy in the mains examination, and it covers wide areas of our syllabus, and there are a lot of topics has been mentioned. In the bracket, the topics I have given, these the topics in the third paper mains examination apart from the Indian economy, like technology, biodiversity, environment, security, and disaster management. These are apart from the Indian economy. But out of all these syllabus, out of all these uh, general study third paper, Indian economy plays vital role, and the weightage is around 50%, and the syllabus is very wide. So along with this study, we'll just try to cover all these things. Indian economy and issue relating to planning, mobilization of resources, growth, development, employment. Syllabus, I think all of you must be acquainted with the syllabus, and this will be given to you when we start the class properly. Inclusive growth and issues arising from it. Government strives to have workforce which reflect gender imbalance. Women candidates are uh, government budgeting, measure cropping pattern in various parts of the country, issue related to the direct and indirect subsidies and minimum support price, public distribution system, objectives, functioning, limitations, revamping issues of buffer stocks and food security, technology missions, economics of animal rearing, food processing and related industries in India, scope and significance, location, upstream and downstream requirements, supply chain management, land reforms in India, effects of liberalization of on the economy, changes in industrial policy, and the effects on industrial growth, infrastructure, energy, ports, roads, airports, railways, etc. And last topic is investment models. Apart from the third paper, you must know that in the second paper of mains, there are certain topics relating to the governance, but generally, governance is a very bigger part. You must know, and it's not possible for any coaching, any teacher to cover each and every issue belonging to the governance. That's why some parts of governance relating to economy are better discussed under economic sections, and these are the topics. So apart from the third paper, in second paper, these are the topics: government policies and interventions for development in various sectors and issues arising out of their design and implementation. So generally, I have seen that one to two questions are always based in examination, and these are broadly covered under Indian economy. As based on this syllabus, I just divided all the syllabus in the to make it simplify to in the different the following chapters. These are the chapters we'll discuss in the class. The first one is financial system, nowhere in syllabus, but you must know that this is the most relevant part of Indian economy. Without understanding the financial system, there are two segments: money and banking, money market and capital market. We cannot go ahead because in everyday newspaper we'll get a lot of news, some based on the banking and money and Reserve Bank of India and the related issues. In everyday newspaper, a lot of news are being uh, given, a lot of events are being taken place. Therefore, it must be clear to us. So it will take more time to be discussed in class when we start properly. As far as the second paper, second topic is concerned, accounting of national income. All of you might have heard about GDP, GNP, national income, all these things always reflecting in the newspapers, even in the gossips of the politicians also, though seldom they know what's the real meaning, but even after that they talk about that. Inflation, nowhere in syllabus, but every time there are so many questions. External sector or foreign sector, always important. Economic and social development, broadly covered under prelims. Fiscal system and government budgeting. Till the fifth chapter, you must know, till the fifth chapter, this will cover prelims as well as the foundation and basic part. And around 90% and even more than 90% of the questions in civil services and the similar examination are being put up and based on all these topics. As far as the fiscal system and government budgeting and 5-year plans, resource mobilization, and inclusive growths are concerned, these topics are basically have been mentioned under main syllabus, but apart from mains, I have seen the question in the prelims also. Going forward, all of you must know that it's very difficult for aspirants to distinguish between prelims and mains because suppose if there is a question, it is up to the examiner whether they are asking the objective question or the subjective question. Say for example, take the example of inflation. Everyone knows inflation. In Hindi, that is called महंगाई. Even the price is rising up. So, if there is a question like that, what is inflation? And there are four options. That will be an objective question. If the same examination or the same question being asked in mains examination, write short notes on inflation for 10 marks. That will be a subjective question, and the same question will be put up in an interview. So I mean to say that the topic is same, but it had been asked differently in the different mode. So it is solely depends on the examiner in what way they are putting the question. So I mean to say we'll have to consider and we'll have to take up the entire things, entire topics, what is happening, what that has been mentioned in prelims and mains, irrespective of all this segregation made by the examiner, made by the UPSC. So on any topic, whether it has been mentioned in prelims and mains, there are possibility to put up the question in prelims and mains both examinations. Starting from the 8 point, all these topics are being covered in mains, and fiscal system, government budgeting, 5-year plan, these are common for prelims and mains, and 8th chapter onwards are the core part of the mains examination, and there are several chapters, several subtopics have been mentioned under agriculture sector like land reforms, agricultural prices and subsidies, food security and related issues, agricultural marketing, food processing, technology mission, use of IT in agriculture, the economics of animal rearing, infrastructure. There are several parts like energy, road, ports, railway, etc., investment models, and industrial sector. These are the chapters based on the syllabus prescribed by UPSC for both mains and prelims and mains examination. Now we can consider the strategy. You must know that to win any war, to meet any objective, we must have an strategy. Our success depends on how much our strategy is foolproof. As far as prelims is concerned, in the first paper, generally the general studies part has been given, and out of the 100 question in the first paper of general studies in prelims, around 15 to 20 questions I have seen in the prelims examination based on the last 5 to 10 years of the question papers. I mean to say around 20-25% weightage of the economic questions are in prelims. The first paper each question carry 2 marks. It means if the number of question is 15, suppose it means 30 marks questions, and it plays vital role. So we'll try to give too much focus on all these issues. As far as the mains is concerned, 120, 100 to 125 marks questions are based in third paper apart from the second paper what we discussed already. So weightage is approximately 50% because each paper carry 250 marks. Apart from that, we must know the relevance of economy. Relevance means in what way and how economy could help us, in what way it is beneficial for us. So these are the points. This will help us to boost up our and to encourage us to go through economy properly. The first point helps to understand daily newspaper. The daily newspaper, apart from so many news, majority of the news based on economic activities, because economics is is such a applied topic in our syllabus that it is happening in our day-to-day life, so no one could be deprived to it. So everyone is facing some economic challenges. So the study of economy will help us properly to understand the newspaper, and reading newspaper is vital for this examination. Second, every newspaper has particular pages or coverage on economy. Irrespective of the language, each and every newspaper in our country having a particular page name might be different, business, economy, whatever it may be, but they cover the entire news based on economy. Apart from that, we have already talked that in second paper some questions are based on economy. This will also help us. Apart from that, there is a essay paper, and since 2013, when the new syllabus was incepted, essay paper is equally important, and equal marks are carried out by essays, 250 marks. And I've seen that one and two essays are always based upon economy, and there is no specific and special study only for all these things. So I mean to say, the study of general study will help us to have some essays on economy also. Apart from that, this will also enrich our ability to understand the day-to-day economic events taking in our day-to-day life, taking in the economy, taking in the global economy, in the national economy, in the state economy, and above all, the study of economy will help us to crack the civil services examination. As far as the core strategy is concerned, lastly, I will just try to take up this part. A strategy means how to, in what way questions are being put up. Did you ever think that in what way examiners are setting the question? You must know that it's not a challenge for us to crack the examination. It is also a challenge in front of the examiners that how to put up the question, how to ask the questions at, so that the aspirants could face some challenges. Otherwise, everyone is fighting, everyone is struggling to crack it. So there is a strategy just that is based on the research. There are C3, that is, there are three C's: C, core, concept, and current. When you see this is applied for each and every part of general study, not only for economy. As far as economy is concerned, basic broadly it is divided into two parts: basic parts and applied parts. Okay, and apart as far as the C3 strategy is concerned, core, concept, and current, irrespective of the subject, irrespective of the mains and pre-examination, when you seriously analyze the questions, you will find that lastly either the question has been put up on the core part, or on the concept part, or the current, that is applied part. Beyond that, no question is being put up in prelims and mains. And above all, no question is asked without any reason. But reasons are generally not clear. So it is up to the examiner. Say for example, suppose there is an event COVID-19. It's a current event. Examiners are very clever, very smart people. They know that everyone knows the ground reality, what is happening in India, what is happening in the global economy, what is the impact of COVID-19. So they will take up this current issue, but they will go into core part. Core part means the deeper part, generally based on the science. So generally, when the aspirant just study for all these topics, they cover the topics, they go through the current part. Examiner cleverly just you set the question on the core part and concept part, and the majority of the students, majority of the aspirants are just get confused. So when we cover these things, each and every question will be under your control. And in my study of economy, I would like to I would like to adopt this strategy. All the respective chapters, wherever the core concept current will come up, we'll just try to understand each and everything clearly. So through this video, I have just tried to have a brief glance on the syllabus and the relevance of economic study, and I hope that this will help you a lot. And thereafter, gradually, we'll just try to cover each and every topic in a strategic manner, so that if any question is being asked in examination, you would be able to resolve it, you will be able to solve it, and in this way you will be able to crack the examination, and this will help you a lot. And good luck to all of you. In the next video, we'll just try to come up with some new topics, and we'll discuss in detail. Okay, okay, okay. Thanks to all of you. Thank.